Hey guys, Nishquick here, and I beat Future Redeemed yesterday. As of the time I am recording this video, yesterday I beat Future Redeemed. I am not going to make very many massive spoiler videos, but I just want to make some general videos about Future Redeemed. Today I want to talk about two of the biggest returning characters in Future Redeemed, and talk about how well they have been portrayed and presented in this game. Of course, I am talking about Shulk and Rex, the two Xeno Dads, I guess you can call them now. So if you guys enjoyed Future Redeemed, if you guys are looking forward to the future of the Xeno series or the Xenoblade series, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really helps out. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers and we're getting there. So let's talk about Shulk and Rex. I have a lot to gush about and just sentimentally talk about in this video. As we could see from the trailer, Shulk and Rex are fathers in Future Redeemed, and the way they are now, their appearance, their demeanor, their personality, this is many years later after Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. We left Shulk at the age of maybe 20 in Future Connected, and Rex was just a 15-year-old boy at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And a lot of people have been saying that they might be in their 30s or around that age. Well, their Ionios versions in this game, Future Redeemed, I would even say they're well into their 40s. They're seasoned warriors, and they're educated, and they're experienced parents as well. So I really want to talk about how well Monolith Soft has written these characters. And let's start off with Shulk. I used to give Shulk a lot of flack during the time that I had spent with Xenoblade 1. And my running gag was always that Shulk is the angry nerd. Shulk was always quick to react to things in an angry way. He sees Fiora's death and he's vengeful and he's angry and he goes and sets out against the Mechon. And also when he meets Mumkar at Valak Mountain and he sees Fiora, he is so vengeful and angry at the Mechon for doing this. But when Shulk really changes is when he stops Dunban from killing Mumkar and says, this is not the way, we know better than to kill humans ourselves. And I was very curious to see a new aged Shulk with this mentality, who thinks before he acts and is a little more contemplative and more of a seasoned warrior and fighter. And as we see here in Future Redeemed, Shulk is very helpful. Shulk has built a family within the Liberators, and he has taken so many people under his wing that he sees potential in. One of those is Panacea, of course, and it's so nice hearing him talk about Panacea and saying that her parents were so close to him. Her parents were so driven and so helpful in his struggles against the many evils he had come across in Bionis. And taking Charla and Ryan's daughter under his wing to be such a worthy leader within the city, within the Liberators, and even becoming eventually the founder of House Reed. It's so heartwarming, and it's so great to see Panacea continue that legacy of her parents being such kind-hearted and genuine and helpful people, but seeing Shulk cultivate that kind of sense and that motivation within her, she has such strong reverence and respect for this man, and who can blame her? But I do want to talk about the biggest relationship Shulk has in this DLC, and that is with his son Nicole. Of course, he doesn't come right out and say, hey, Nicole, I am your father.
I am your father.
Well, that would have been a little bit intimidating. Of course, Shulk and Rex immediately recognize their kids. They know their kids. And it's very interesting that they say that it's kind of like redoing the whole growing up stage. It's kind of like redoing the whole parenting thing from all the way back, raising these kids. But seeing Shulk as a dad was very interesting, because I talked about before, Shulk was always quick to anger. He had a shorter temper than other protagonists, I would say, especially compared to Noah. But when you see how he approaches conversations with Nicole is so shy, Nicole is afraid, he's confused. The only person in his life who has given him some kind of consolation and support at this point was Matthew. And then he sees this man who looks like him, and Shulk approaches him and says, "Hey, I see that you like machines. Well, I like machines too." That whole cutscene with him showing off his arm and just geeking out about machines with his son was so amazing. Another thing is, whenever characters would make mistakes or do something that would cost the party some unfortunate hardships, Shulk was never the one to scold. Shulk was the one to say, "This is a lesson that you can learn. This is a mistake that you have made and you can move past it," especially with regards to Glimmer, who makes a lot of mistakes. But that made me think, how would things have been like with Shulk and Nicole and they're a family? Of course, Shulk is a very, very supportive father. Him having the same interests as his son, they would have such a powerful father and son relationship. But it also makes me think, whenever Nicole is just tinkering around with his machines back in his room and blowing things up and causing explosions, I feel like Fiora would be the one to put her foot down and do the scolding, whereas Shulk would come in and say, "Oh, well, this is another mistake that you can learn from. And also, good job on not burning the house down." So let's move on to Rex. Rex, I feel, has changed the most. Of course, his appearance has drastically changed, and I just want to say, I would tell a lot of my friends this and express this kind of excitement for Rex in Xenoblade 3 before the game even released. I would tell them, if Rex is in this game, I want to see him muscly, big, burly, have a deep voice and a thick beard and all that. Well, we didn't get the thick beard, he's got a little stubble going on there, but my point is, this is the Rex I wanted to see, and this is the Rex that I knew we would get in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and the reason is, Rex in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a heart of gold. This 15-year-old boy is very, very positive and optimistic, very, very optimistic guy, and I did not expect him to retain that optimism, that blind optimism moving forward. He would be quick to trust people, whereas Shulk was quick to anger with a little bit of a shorter temper. Rex was very trusting in people. He trusted in Pyra when he didn't really know what going to Elysium meant, and he was quick to trust Jin in Mortha when he said, "Hey Jin, come with us, we'll find a way out of here." But Rex has really learned from a lot of that, and Rex has become a stern parent. And I've seen a lot of people online, on Twitter, on YouTube comments saying that this isn't what they expected with Rex, and it feels a little jarring. But understanding all that Rex has been through, with almost the loss of his loved ones, Pyra and Mithra, they're almost truly taken away from him in Xenoblade 2. And with all the hardships that he has gone through with Pyra, Mithra, Nia, Zeke, Morag, and all the things that he has learned from Azurta, his gramps, he doesn't want his future generation to make the same mistakes that he once did. And you really see that when he scolds Glimmer. The first time he sees Glimmer, he very sternly scolds her. And with this new demeanor, with this new appearance, it's very understandable that he would come across that way. He's not the most approachable person, especially for someone like Glimmer, but you can tell that he still really cares. You can tell that this stern nature and this scolding is coming from his parental instinct. He doesn't want his kids to make the same mistakes that he did, and he wants them to learn from their mistakes and be better people, While Shulk might be a little more forthcoming that way, Rex has the more stern approach, and I thought that was very interesting to see. I also really loved that scene with Rex and Glimmer right before they head off into the Black Mountains. It was a very heartfelt and emotional scene, not only because Rex references his mentor Zeke, but you really see the kind-hearted, genuine Rex that we knew in Xenoblade 2 in that scene. Because you see a lot of dads like this who are very stern, very protective, and very stubborn in the way they want things to happen, they want things to be done, or how they want their kids to obey in certain ways. But this scene, we see Rex kind of bring down his guard and say, "This is why I am doing what I'm doing, and I am proud of you for coming this far." And it was really, really, truly heartwarming to see him have this heart-to-heart conversation with his daughter Glimmer.
Hey, why do you do all this?
Why do I do all what now?
All the helping. It's nothing to do with you, but you risk a life and limb, fighting to protect people you don't even know.
Smiles, I guess.
Smiles.
If through my fighting, someone out there gets to smile, that's the kind of world I want to help create.
Why don't you just let it go? Who do you think you're doing this for?
I'm doing it for myself. If it helps put smiles on people's faces, helps them live their lives together, then that's my role in this world!
I want to finish off by recounting some of my favorite Affinity scenes with Shulk and Rex, because I think that was a very perfect way to bring in a lot of these callbacks from Xenoblade 1 and 2, and especially since a lot of them pertain to their kids. Whenever they're talking in the Affinity scenes, they're most likely talking to their kids. Shulk has some very great ones in Yesterdale and the Colony 9 area. One of the very first Affinity scenes that I viewed was in Dunban's house. I immediately recognized Dunban's house. Even before Shulk said, "Ricky has set up operation at a friend's old house," I knew that that was Dunban and Fiora's house. And Shulk reminiscing about his old friend, his old mentor who taught him so much, was so great. And then Rex says, "Was that your mentor or was that your brother-in-law?" And I found it so great to actually get that confirmation that Shulk and Fiora lived happily ever after the end of Xenoblade 1. That's so great to hear. And also, when you approach the Lookout Park, I made sure to go up there because I remembered that place vividly from Xenoblade 1. The place where Fiora brings the sandwiches over and says, "I wish every day could be like this." And hearing Shulk talk about how he would come up here, ponder about things, contemplate on things, and just sit here hours upon hours upon hours, and have the support of someone who would always give him sandwiches with the best herbs and the best spices and all that. That again was so nostalgic to me. And it's also nice that he ends it off by saying to Nicole, "Hey, one day, let's come up here and let's have a heart-to-heart conversation amongst ourselves with some nice sandwiches with some good herbs." That was a nice callback to Xenoblade 1. Very, very well done.
It's so peaceful. You know, Shulk, I hope every day can be like this, always.
Rex's Affinity scenes from my memory weren't as sappy or nostalgic, except for one that really hit me in the feels. The Cliffs of Moritha scene where Numa is awakened in Xenoblade 2 is one of my favorite cutscenes in the entire Xenoblade series. And the fact that it was referenced in this game is amazing. Not only the fact that Nicole and Glimmer have to fight their parents here, and it's a very, very tough fight, just like how we had to fight Jin and Malos here, and that was a very, very tough fight as well, but also the fact that Rex says, "Glimmer, one day I made a promise here. I made a promise at this very place that the people I love, I would always be there for them and I would never let them down." And at the end, I don't remember exactly what he says, but he gives a slight hint to Pyra and Mithra. And even though that was a pretty big tease, I'm glad that they left it at that. And I'm really glad that they had that emotional moment, father and daughter, and that they referenced one of the best and most memorable scenes in Xenoblade 2. Otherwise, Rex recounts a lot of memories from Xenoblade 2 when he sees monuments from Tantal. He talks about the rich history of Allrest that is within Ionios. And when he gets a glimpse of the Orion Mountains, he talks about how he was once swallowed by them. And of course, Matthew, Nicole, and Glimmer don't believe that because it sounds like a crazy far-fetched story. And of course, Rex agrees that it sounds like a fever dream. A lot of these callbacks were amazing, and I loved how Rex and Shulk were handled in this DLC. I think they've really grown as protagonists, they've really grown as individuals, and each of them really had a big part to play in this whole saga. Of course, being protagonists, but seeing them back in Future Redeemed to cap off the Klaus saga was so heartwarming and so genuinely great. I really, really am very happy that we got to see them once again. Grown up, seasoned warriors, and seasoned parents, the Xeno Dads are back, and I'm very, very happy about that. So let me know what you think. Did you enjoy the inclusion of Shulk and Rex within Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed? Did you like how they were presented? Do you like their personality? Do you like their characterization and their writing? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed and Xenoblade content on the way. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day, and go play some great games today, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. See you guys in the next one. Later.